Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Phil Lindsey. So Denzel Washington's been in the headlines lately, kids, in case you haven't seen. Nothing bad, which is always good. Anytime you hear that one of your favorite celebrities is in the news or in the headlines, you automatically have the GIF or the meme of Denzel himself doing the, holding his chest like, oh, man, just being relieved that something bad didn't happen. No, it's all good. It's fine. But he's been in the headlines lately because he's commented on social media influencers, among other things, basically saying that a lot of these people don't have talent. By the way, as someone who works very hard on his YouTube channel, I can't say that not all of us don't have talent, but I can see exactly where he's coming from. So I don't take anything personal. I love Denzel Washington. He's a national treasure. And if anybody out there disagrees, I don't know what to say to you. And I don't have a lot of time for that. This guy's a class act. He always has been. He's a stand-up guy. He's a great actor. I think he's one of the best actors of our generation, maybe of all time. He's fantastic. And I wanted to dive into Denzel a little bit more today. We've done some of his stuff here, but not a whole lot. That's why today we're diving into the Equalizer Part 2. So right off the bat, I can tell you, kids, this movie in terms of reviews, depending on who you're talking to, some folks love it. Other people say it's robotic and it's you can predict it ahead of time and it kind of goes through the paces. And I read other reviews that say like it's not much of a sequel. Part 1 was much better. I got my own thoughts. I'm going to share them here today. I'm sure Phil will share his as well. And then, of course, as you guys know, you can always share in the comments, send me a message, whatever that looks like. Let me know what you think as well, because I can't wait to get into it. But before we cover the topic and discuss the film, let's do this. The Equalizer 2 is a 2018 American vigilante action thriller film directed by the great Antoine Fuqua. It is the sequel to the 2014 film The Equalizer. It's in the archives, kids, by the way, go check it out, which was based on the TV series of the same name, as well as the second installment of the Equalizer trilogy. The film stars, you guessed it, Denzel Washington in the lead role, along with an assorted cast. Great folks here, one of which I kind of forgot he was here. It's kind of a big deal because he's like the main villain. It's been a while since I've seen this, if I'm being honest. The film is the fourth collaboration between Washington and Fuqua following Training Day, The Equalizer, and The Magnificent Seven, and marks the first time Washington has starred in a sequel to one of his films. That's pretty good, right? Release date, July 20th, 2018, as we said. Running time, 121 minutes. The budget for this film was around $62 to $79 million. That's a big gap. And the box office is nearly $191 million. And that is your lowdown on The Equalizer 2. So, Phil, as we get started here today, it's been a minute since we've done anything of Denzel, but we talk about him, I think, quite a bit here on the show. What did you think of The Equalizer 2? How long has it been since you've seen it? In your opinion, how does it hold up to Part 1?
I haven't seen it probably since the first one. The first time I watched it, rather. I think it's a good movie. I think it's very enjoyable. I think the emotional beats hit. I do think the first movie is better. But I did enjoy this quite a bit when I originally saw it.
I really like this movie. I think I told you off mic, I think it might be my favorite one. Part 1 is excellent, of course. But I really enjoyed this. And when I went back to read reviews, I'm like, wow, this many people didn't care for it. Like I guess that's fine, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's the way it hits me. I like Miles, and we'll get into it. I like the story. I just, Denzel, beating people to death and killing folks as the Equalizer is never going to get old to me. He can make these movies forever, as far as I'm concerned. What? So you think one's better than 2? Where would you rate number 3?
To be honest, I don't remember much of 3. I don't even remember if I've seen 3.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah. I tell you, man, for me, I think Part 2 is my favorite. I have not heard anything about whether or not there's actually going to be uh, a part 4. I don't know. I mean, Denzel's getting up there in age. I don't know if it's something he'd want to do or
Yeah. Aren't they? I think they're working on spin-offs. I thought I saw.
interesting. Huh.
But it is interesting that Denzel, because a lot of what he said recently in that clip about you had to be good, he comes from old Hollywood in a way.
Yeah.
And he comes from a time where movies were built off of movie stars and it wasn't, built off of IPs. And he's not a franchise guy. I mean, just the fact that this is the only franchise that he's ever been in for his entire career is very telling. And it's a franchise built off an IP. It was an old TV show.
Hmm.
So eh, he, in a way, he looks at it in a very realistic way. It's not just where the times are, but just how much making movies have changed.
Hmm.
Because it used to be, even if you just look at the comic book movies, for example, and the rise of comic book movies, you used to have a star. Um, in order to go into one of these studios and say, I want to make this wacky movie about like a vampire slayer or something,
Mm.
I have to have a star. I have to come in there with Wesley Snipes. I
Mm,
can't
yeah.
come in there and say, I want to make this movie about vampires and this guy that's like a vampire slayer. You got to come in with a star. That's the selling point. That doesn't exist anymore. Now the IP is the selling point. Um, the intellectual property, the fandom of these things, that's the selling point. And I'm sure that looks crazy to somebody like Denzel, who has built a lot of equity in his name.
Is he the last great actor of that era, do you think? I mean, who else would you throw in there with him? Nicholson's not acting anymore, but like,
I mean,
who would you throw in that era with him?
he's got to be one of those guys that's the last ones because he's one of those last ones that when he's a leading man in something, it means something.
Mm, yeah.
Uh, that's the selling point that it's a Denzel Washington movie. I mean, even if yeah, Equalizer is built off of the IP, but at the same time, some of the selling point is that this is a Denzel Washington movie with Fuqua at the helm,
Mm,
or like his upcoming movie, it's his fifth Spike Lee movie, and there's something to seeing those two guys team up again.
mm.
Um, I think Leo's another one that's still a big selling point. A Leonardo DiCaprio movie is still a selling point.
That's a good pull. That's a good pull. I honestly didn't think about that, dude. So you and I are both comic book slash sci-fi slash that kind of genre guys. I mean, I'm not going to ask if you prefer one over the other because I don't know if we had to make it that conversation. Do you think it's a shame that we are where we are with the IP being the star, or do you think that's just how it kind of evolves anyway?
Yes and no. I think in some ways it's a shame that some of the movies that would have been made a decade or 2 decades ago has kind of gone away. That is unfortunate. Um, I can't say that I'm upset that it's easier to go into a studio and get a comic book movie made today.
Mm,
No. But I do think that it has had repercussions on things that I don't like. Um, there's pros and cons to everything, and there's definitely cons that's
mhm,
come with this era of big franchises and world building, universe building. Um,
yeah.
and I could see where if you're an actor, if you just want to make movies and you just want like to be able to tell your story and get out, that might bother you. Or
Mhm,
even more so a director, if you want to just be able to come in and tell your story and get out, you don't want to make a franchise. I can see how that's cumbersome.
mhm. Yeah, because dude, you're signing away years of your life, right? Like that's a big thing for a lot of these actors.
Yeah. I mean, those movies still exist. We do still get, you know, some directors that still have the ability to do that. But yeah, man, these studios, they like money. Go figure. And
Go
so
figure.
franchises are king right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I've said it here and I've said it on other shows, other podcasts as well, but nostalgia rules, man. Like right? Like the stuff you grew up with. They know that guys of a certain age will go spend a lot of money on, vintage toys and merch and go see reboots and prequels and sequels and trilogies. I mean, I think that's where a lot of that's coming from for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just think even outside of that, like when you see like how wildly successful like Harry Potter was, and you see
Mm,
how many books have then turned into like these big blockbuster franchises. I mean, like Hunger Games, for example, or they've tried to do with other book franchises, like they've been trying to do with Percy Jackson on and off. And so, um, yeah, it's hard when these studios see the blueprint somewhere else, and you see where somebody else made a lot of money doing this. Oh
mhm.
yeah, I want some of that money too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. We haven't mentioned that Richard Wink wrote this movie, and he wrote, in fact, all three Equalizer movies. He also wrote The Protege in 2021. He wrote Renegades in 2017. He wrote, let's see, Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. He wrote 16 Blocks. He also wrote Craven the Hunter, and we'll try not to
Wow,
put that against him. Everybody has an off day, right?
man, can't bat 1,000.
I'm just saying, can't win them all, right? So yeah, yeah. Well, look, I have I don't want to say debate. I have the IP conversation all the time. And as a comic book guy, again, we've said many times here on the show, kids. Once upon a time, we had nothing. The last thing we had was the original Christopher Reeve Superman trilogy, and that's all we had. And it was till 1989 before Batman even hit. So we had a span of years there that there was nothing, and then after that, after the Batman trilogy, there was still a lot of nothing. There'd be a random miss here and there. The MCU didn't start till 2008. So, it took a heck of a long time. So I'm not going to be that dude that complains about comic movies like you said, Phil. I'm not going to do that. But I do kind of feel like, I maybe Clooney is one of those guys as well. Like, and I mean he's done sequels too, but at the same time, I don't know, just that old Hollywood, which I think that's a great way to put it, man. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like even Will Smith's rise to
Mm,
popularity at one point, and he was a movie star, he was a leading man.
yeah.
Like the day of leading men has completely changed.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's not what it used to be. Now you're an ensemble cast. Like
Yeah,
you said, there's not really one guy out in front like there used to be, like a lead singer. It's like a band
yeah.
now.
And I think that's why when you see some of the criticism of a guy in this movie, Pedro Pascal, and it's like, well, he's everywhere. He's being forced on us. Like, no, this is how Hollywood used to get behind a leading man. When
Mm,
there was success in selling this guy's name and acting ability, this is how this usually went. And Pedro Pascal is in such an interesting position because he's been doing both TV and movie. And it used to be when you were a leading man, a movie star, you didn't do both. You didn't double dip.
yeah. Yeah. Hollywood actors wouldn't be caught dead on TV.
Yeah, but now we're in this era of like Hollywood actors doing streamers, and you see more people that are movie stars, quote unquote, that are doing streamers. But that's also just how a part of how much Hollywood's changed.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Man, I don't quote me on this, but I remember at the time when this happened, I remember thinking, this is big. When Gary Sinise came to CSI New York when that show started. At the time I thought, this is big. Gary Sinise is a movie actor. Like at the time, it really hit me like, man, I wonder if this is a sign of things to come. Not saying I had any foresight, but it really struck me like this is not something you see all the time. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, to your point, it's happened a heck of a lot since then. Now it's the norm. Yeah. I mean, Denzel's had a big career, man. He's 70. And I hope he doesn't stop. I hope the guy just keeps going because he looks great, smart, funny. I mean, just an incredible actor, man. Like he's just
Well,
great.
supposedly he's planning his quote unquote retirement. He hasn't quite called it a retirement, but it does seem like he'll be done working as much as he was. Um,
Interesting.
And I mean that came up because I believe it was Ryan Coogler that was one of the people that brought this up because he's doing the Spike Lee movie coming up, and there's a lot of perception around this that this is kind of like their last hurrah. This is their last time doing a movie together.
Mm.
Um, but Coogler was one of the guys that said, "Yeah, I wanted to get him in a movie before he's done." And he kind of spilled the beans that he's cast for something in Black Panther 3. We don't have like a revelation for what he's actually doing, but he's kind of spilled the beans. And Denzel was like, "Yeah, I am doing that."
That's funny. I mean, it's worth mentioning here that Chadwick Boseman gave Denzel full props and basically, well, not basically, just flat out said, "I wouldn't be here if not for Denzel." That's big, man.
Yeah, he did a lot of mentorship for a lot of young actors that people don't know about.
Yeah.
Um, I believe the guy Amari Hardwick, that was the lead actor in Power. He talked about how he slept on his couch at one point, and just there's so many stories about like that about what he did for other people to help them. And just because as an elder statesman in Hollywood, and we've heard stories from like Will Smith and other people. So yeah, I wasn't surprised when I heard that about Chadwick, but that's also part of what makes that's also part of what makes Chadwick's tragic passing so depressing at times. It's like
So depressing.
that Denzel had the time to do that for him, and he wasn't allowed to do that for any young actor behind him.
I mean, dude, well said. Played T'Challa, played James Brown, played Jackie Robinson, and didn't even scratch the surface of what he had left to do as an actor.
Yeah,
Dude, that's insane to me, man. I'm not gonna say that's why Black Panther is probably still my favorite Marvel film, but it's probably got maybe a little something to do with it. Like, it's still hard to watch him in that movie and not get emotional. It's really hard, man.
yeah, especially the second one. Like it's very
Oh
like a lot of
man,
the grief around that movie is very real.
yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of Denzel, for you kids out there who maybe aren't quite kids, he started out on. Well, he was on TV, Saint Elsewhere, back in 80 from 82 to 88. He was Dr. Philip Chandler. So he was doing a medical ensemble drama back in the day. St. Elsewhere was a big show when I was a kid, dude. Like, it was big. It was like the biggest show on TV at the time. And he did other stuff on TV as well. He actually directed an episode of Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if I even knew that.
Hmm.
Interesting, where everybody kind of bounces around to. He's done theater. Back in '79 was his first role on the stage. He did Othello. He's doing Othello. He did Othello this year, actually, from February 24th to June 6th. I
Hmm.
don't think I knew that.
I did. There's been a bunch of stories that came out about that.
Oh, interesting. Tell me.
Yeah, I don't know if you know who Mark Lamont Hill is. He used to be on CNN quite a bit.
Mm.
Uh, PhD. He has his own YouTube channel. He does some podcasting, and he talked about taking his wife to go see it. And um, he's like, I'm famous, but I'm not like famous, famous. And so his wife, every now and then, she's not the one that's like, hey, introduce me to this person, but she was like, I want to meet Denzel, and he was like, I might be able to make that happen, but again, I don't think I'm that famous. So he tells this whole story about taking her to Othello, and uh like all of the stuff that happens to get backstage, and he finally meets like Denzel through a friend of a friend of a friend.
Mm.
And he is like one of those, like, you don't hear their story. You hear a lot about like don't meet your heroes. That is not true of Denzel Washington at all. Just a very classy guy. A guy that is very aware of his status, that is very aware of how famous he is, and he still makes time for people.
Mhm.
And just like how a bunch of people backstage were coming up to him, and he still was very gracious, took time to take selfies with people, took time to like just like have like small talk with people. I don't know if you know who Chance the Rapper is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Chance the Rapper was one of the people back there. And so he's like standing around, and like there are like all these people standing around talking to Denzel. And so he's like, all right, guys, well, I have to go out there and do like some press and take some pictures and then come back. But I'll be right back. And so he looks around like I need like he's gonna grab somebody to take out there with him. And he looks at Chance and he's like, "You're a rapper, right?" He said, "Yeah." He's like, "How famous are you?" Chance goes, eh. He's like, "All right, we're gonna see." And so he grabs him, goes out this door, and like they get like this huge ovation. You can hear all of like the shutter bugs and like them taking all the pictures and stuff of him. And he comes back and he's like, "Yeah, turns out, yeah, pretty famous."
That's funny. Don't it make you happy when you hear that the guys and gals that you love are actually really cool people? That's really awesome. I like that a lot. That's a great story. Speaking of cool people who are in this movie, you mentioned Pedro already. Can I ask you this? What do you make of the hate being leveled at this guy? I mean, where's all this coming from, man?
Well, he's made his social and political views very aware,
Very true.
and so there's part of that. And then it's almost like being a wrestling fan when somebody is pushed very heavily, and we see them all the time. People are just like, "Well, I want somebody else to get a turn. I want to see somebody else."
Mm,
And it went from this guy being this up and comer that people loved, and then it's just like the more and more we see him, it's like, "Oh, this guy again." And eh, it's wild because he's so incredibly talented, and
mm.
so I don't understand not seeing why people would cast this guy in as many things as possible at the moment because he's such a great actor. Um, and I think he's great here. It's still funny every time I see him now without facial hair, and he just it just looks weird now. And we did that interview recently where he's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do another one. I think I'll do another movie without facial hair."
And you can't really blame him.
Yeah, he talked about Wonder Woman, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, seeing Wonder Woman back, that was one of them. That was like, yeah, won't be doing a movie without facial hair again."
Well, the most painful thing about Wonder Woman was not the fact that he didn't have a mustache,
Yeah, no,
but I
no,
can relate. I can see where he's coming from. So,
yeah, and I mean, he's fantastic in it. He tried his best as Max
oh
Lord.
yeah,
Uh, life is great, but it could be better.
that's right. We did the first movie here. I think we did part two as well. Pretty sure.
I think we did.
I tried to forget it, but yeah, pretty
How
sure
can
we
you
did.
forget with the Gal Gadot meme everywhere? Max Lord, you need to give me the stones right now.
And flat, basically sexually assaulting the guy. We can't forget about that.
Oh God, yeah,
Um,
the whole storyline of that as well was yeah,
and it's one of those things where like you see something in a room full of people, and you're looking around like, does no one else see this? It
yeah.
was kind of that feeling the whole time I'm watching that movie in the theater. Did I
And
go to
what
the theater? Maybe I did.
I think that was one of those when I saw it because I believe didn't it come out where you could watch it on Max on Christmas Day?
That's what it was. I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because I that's how I watched it because this was like still in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah. Man, I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of those movies that released directly to Max and directly streaming platforms. Because remember, that was the thing with how quickly Black Widow released on streaming platforms as well.
It's true.
That led to the lawsuit between Scarlett Johansson and Disney.
That's right. Black Widow, far superior movie to
Yeah,
Wonder Woman Part 2.
underrated film, I think.
Oh, I totally agree. If David Harbour for no other reason.
Yeah,
Fantastic movie. Yeah.
Boink Studios YouTube is the home of Tom Clark's 6M podcast. Tom Clark's main event, Bear Mode, a podcast review of The Bear, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Subscribe to the channel for archives that date back to 2014, with new content being uploaded every week. And check out boinkstudios.com for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Bookmark the site today.
What did you think about Pedro here as Dave York? And we know Denzel, if we didn't mention, of course, is Robert McCall. Did you see Pedro being the turncoat? Did you see that coming, or did it catch you off guard, or was it too formulaic, as a lot of people have said about this movie?
I think the thing that people are picking up about this movie is it's very episodic. It's almost like a TV show, and I
Mm,
can't tell how much of that is intentional because it's based on a TV show.
yeah.
But it very much does have like this like A team villain of the week type storyline to it.
Mm.
And I don't even think that's necessarily a negative because I found myself enjoying it. But there's something about him. The second we saw Dave, that I was like, yeah, nah, I don't trust this guy.
Yeah.
And every time we kept seeing scenes where, um, I keep wanting to call him Denzel, but McCall, he comes walking around like a coroner or something after he's clearly been watching this guy and doing his research on him. It's like, yeah, I don't trust this guy either. I see it in your eyes, McCall. Like, I don't trust this guy either. And I think they did such a great job of setting him up as like this antithesis of what the Equalizer is.
Mhm.
And I mean, almost every single superhero film or uh, action movie has done this whole, hey, the flip of a coin where maybe some bad choices would have changed you into this guy.
Mm.
And that's clearly what they were doing with the Dave character. That if McCall didn't leave the life and he stayed, and then he made some bad choices, he could have ended up like him with his family life and everything. And so
Mm.
I enjoyed that aspect of it, and I think that Pedro did a very good job of making this guy likable. I mean, when you see him early in the movie with Susan, it's like, hey, this guy's pretty likable. And then you see him with his family, and they love this guy. Like his kids, his wife, they love this guy. He couldn't have a more normal, mundane life.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you look at him long enough, it's like, yeah, what's up with you, man? Like, even when he was walking in that park, and I was like, this guy's got this edge to him. What's up with this guy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it is kind of stereotypical that he would be the guy, because if you only cast X number of people in the main roles in a film and those are the only characters you see, process elimination, one of them's probably going to turn out to be the villain, right? Like,
Absolutely. And but the conversation we were having about leading men and at the beginning of this movie, you don't cast a guy like Pedro Pascal and put him in a movie with Denzel. You're putting them that way to have two leading men going head to head.
good call. Yeah. I mean, what do you think he was thought of at the time as being a leading man? Because in my head, I'm going back to 2018. Hadn't been that long ago. I mean, it seems like he was on the rise at the time, right?
Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if he was in consideration.
Yeah. Um, I mean, let's be honest, man. It didn't take him long. I think once people get a look at this guy and see how freaking talented he is, they can just see. Well, look, he's been acting since '96. I don't know if I knew he'd been around that long. Holy cow!
Yeah, there's all of those clips of some of the older stuff that he's in. Like he's in an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hmm.
He's a vampire.
Let's see. Kingsman: The Golden Circle was in 2017. He was in that. He was in Prospect in 2017. Equalizer 2 here in 2018. The next big thing he was in, Wonder Woman 84. Hoy. And let's see, after that, We Can Be Heroes, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, The Bubble, House Comes with a Bird, Strange Way of Life, Freaky Tales. I mean, Gladiator 2 in 2024. And then, First Steps. And of course, this isn't even mentioning The Last of Us, which he is great in that show, dude. That's where I think people really got a true look at, man, this guy's insanely talented, dude. And of course, we can't also forget The Mandalorian as well.
Yeah, some small hit uh, on streaming platforms.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. 2019 for that. So yeah, you're right. He was on the cusp of it anyway. I mean, he was, yeah, wow. That's a good call. Like, two leading men in the same movie, and one of them's gonna end up being the antagonist. I mean, that makes a lot of sense actually. I thought he was really good here. As we said, it's a small cast, but I thought he was really good here, and I think it made a lot of sense. I liked him in this movie. Do I think it was a bit much that he was one of the guys breaking into John's apartment? Maybe. Doesn't he have guys that can do that? And then he is actually the sniper in the end. He's going to be the bad guy. He can't be Wilson Fisk sitting in an ivory tower the whole time. So he's got to be in the movie. But did I bump into the thing? Maybe just a little bit. It didn't ruin it for me. But, if people criticize, I can actually see why. But he's not really portrayed as being a criminal mastermind either, right? So,
Yeah. Um, Yeah, and I think it tells a good story of why McCall left the life, why he left the DIA, why
Yeah.
he's doing what he's doing now. Because you have two things going concurrently. You have the storyline with him and him being a mentor to Dave and where Dave ended up, and you have the storyline with Miles and him trying to mentor this kid and go, "Hey, man, you can be whatever you want to be, man. You don't have to be this. You do not have to be a killer."
Yeah, I agree. Here's something, and I haven't seen part three in a bit, and we might have to cover part three here, Phil, just to say we've finished the trilogy. But I got to get your take on this. So far, what we know about this character, has McCall ever really been in danger in either one of these movies? I mean, I never really felt as though
Mhm.
it just feels like he's in control the entire time. And I felt like John Wick was in more danger than he was, honestly.
I think that that's an easy criticism of it is that he kind of always seems like he's in control. He's
Hmm.
never been really under duress. But again, it has that episodic feel to it. Like, oh, we'll know. We know by the end of the episode he'll get out of it.
Right. That's fair. I'm not saying I dislike it. It's just, it kind of speaks to me about, you know, the level of talent that the hitman they send to get him have. Like,
Yeah.
they're not that great because he's one guy. Of course, he's one guy in an action film taking all these people. It's kind of like the conversation about if you could be a superhero, what powers would you have? Who would you be? Well, are we talking real world or are we talking about in a comic book world? Because if someone says Wolverine, I'm like, do I need an unbreakable skeleton and claws? But to what end? How would I use it? If we're talking about the real world, am I going to go around just killing people there? I'm going to get arrested for that. Like, you can't solve your problems that way. So, like, he seems like the most talented, well prepared guy. He's Batman. You know what I mean? He's had time to prepare. He knows what to do. And everyone else is on a level far below him, it seems like.
Yeah. I still think that like his fighting style and the way that he handles himself still holds up very well in this movie.
Yes.
Um, very, very few wasted moves. Every move, everything he does has intent behind it. He is always watching. He's always observing everything, and I think that that was one of the great details they did with making him a Lyft driver, because he's
Mm.
constantly observing everything about his surroundings.
I thought the scenes of him driving the car were pretty great, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was very endearing. I think that um, like just the slice of life stuff there of him um just observing other people's regular lives and just being kind of like, oh, that's nice, because he doesn't have a normal life and nothing about what he does is normal. And I think it's also to a degree that he appreciates it because he can't just have what they have. He can't just have a
Mm.
normal life. He can't just
Ooh.
be like a parent or just like, somebody with like minimum concerns.
Well said. Yeah, I like that a lot. I mentioned Wolverine. Like, it kind of felt like Logan driving the limo, honestly.
Yeah. And I mean, again, you could pick at, that this very much feels like uh, an episode of a TV show. And because of that, it feels a bit formulaic. But I think the emotional beats of the way that he helps people are still very endearing. Like when uh, when the guys in that building bring the girl down, and he's sitting there the
Oh,
whole time looking
man.
at the girl, and he doesn't even hesitate to just take her straight to the hospital and comes back. And it's just like, look, you're going to make this right.
Yeah.
And there's several things he does throughout the movie. The stuff he does with the Holocaust survivor is just, I defy you to watch that guy watch his sister walk through that door and not cry.
It's so good. Yeah, you're right. It's so good, man. Oh, what a great way to end the movie, right? And he never takes credit. He saves the kid at the beginning, brings the kid back from Turkey. The mom has no idea he did it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, she placed an ad. Well, he has an ad, right? We know this from
Mhm.
the first movie. He's going into this full time as an occupation. So she probably saw the ad, probably talked to him on the phone or got an email, and he took care of it. And she has no idea who he is.
Yeah. Okay, he doesn't want the credit. He's just like, yep, I'm just trying to do good things for people. Mostly it's penance, because as we see multiple times throughout this movie, when he has to be that guy, yeah, it's pretty ruthless, cold guy. I
Man.
mean, even when he talks about getting vengeance, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back and kill all of you guys." And
Yeah.
the only thing I regret is that I can't do it twice.
Oh my God, it's such a great line. And listen, even in the cul-de-sac, he's in control.
Yeah.
His wife's loading up one of the kids, and he's like, "Hey, he told me he'd give me a ride,
Oh my God,
dude."
he's so smooth, just like not in just how he handles everybody and just like his hand to hand combat, but just like the way he talks when he comes in there and saves Miles from those gangbangers. And the one
Oh,
guy's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm your father. Your mother just didn't tell me
yeah.
yet."
Dude, the best part of that is when he shuts the door. No one gets up. They just go,
Who
"Who
was
was
that
that
guy?
guy?"
And the guy's like touching his lip. He's feeling the blood. He's like, "I'm not going back out there with that guy." Like,
Like in the real world, they're storming down the hall and they shoot them. They shoot him dead because he don't have a chance against 5 guns. But in the movie, they're so stunned that anyone would have the balls to do this to them,
yeah, I mean,
right?
and the way that he just like thoroughly walked through there and just like got all the way in that room without having to shoot anybody.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, just ridiculous. I thought that scene is some of his best acting in a movie.
I agree.
By the way, when he brings Miles down, and he's talking to him, and he's like, "Man, look, you don't know what death is. Uh, you don't have to be here. You
Yeah.
want to be here? You want to be a killer? Go ahead."
Dude, 2 moments for me when I got choked up was the end with the Holocaust survivor, who we'll talk about. That's Sam Rubenstein, played by Orson Bean. But also this moment in the stairwell. It is fantastic. Like I don't know why, but it got me both times.
Yeah,
And I don't know, man. It's just so great. Like,
yeah. I just think he does such a good job in that scene of just emoting how much death has affected him. The amount of death that he's been a part of because of his job and everything he does. The fact that he understands at this point that he's a killer, like he just doesn't even try to hide it.
mm,
Um, but also like just how much his wife's death affects him, and that is very much present throughout this movie.
he kisses the wedding ring every time. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, the way he talks about her, the way he speaks, like, I mean, the story he tells when Susan is there and he talks about like buying clothes and
Mhm.
like all those small moments just are just so very good. Like just great little notes, and he does such a great job of like making this character endearing in all those moments.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. We mentioned Miles Whitaker a couple different times. This is Ashton Sanders in this movie. This okay, I will say this. For people who criticize, oh, it's formulaic, it's typical. He meets a kid in trouble. Oh, of course he does. You know, whatever people say about it. But like, I thought he was great, dude.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed him. I thought his performance was great. I didn't think anything was flat. Dude, when he came out that safe room, I thought, what the F are you doing, kid? Get back behind the bookcase. Like I'm yelling at the TV, like, get back behind, but of course he didn't. Right?
yeah.
Oh my God.
Telling
He's
you,
great in this movie.
it's so hard to not see all of the television bits of like he comes walking out of there, and then we get the da 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 da, and then it
Yeah.
goes to commercial.
Right. Tune
uh,
in next week, or they'll leave you on a cliffhanger, right?
yeah, but yeah, I thought Ashton was great here. I really enjoyed him in other things. I thought he was great in Moonlight as well.
Mm,
Moonlight is a fantastic movie if you have not seen it.
I have not
Um,
seen it.
Very, very good movie. But yeah, I could see the criticism that he has like this kid in peril um in basically all three movies
Mhm.
that he mentors. Um but I really enjoyed Miles. I thought his story was great. I thought it was perfect that his story was running parallel with the stuff with Dave. I thought that made perfect sense.
Mhm.
And I thought the payoff of Miles' storyline was also very good as well. The stuff with like him wanting to be an artist, the mural and everything was one of the better payoffs at the end of the movie. And even just like him deciding to go back to school and being on a bus, all that stuff. Um, I think the best gift he could have given anybody after everything that happened between him and Dave And him going away from Dave's life and Dave becoming what he did, and him having to put Dave down. Um, the best thing he could have done for Miles is like, bro, just be a normal person. Just be what I cannot be.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. By the way, he also plays RZA in the Wu Tang American Saga. Interesting.
Yeah,
It's a
really
good
good actor.
role. Yeah, he was also Bobby Brown in that Whitney Houston movie.
I have not seen that movie, so
I have not seen that movie either. I don't want it to sound a certain kind of way, but God bless, man, it's tragic, just tragic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it'd be easy to go back and watch something like that, man. I thought it was great here. In terms of the Equalizer universe, I don't 99% certain he's not in part three. As we said, it feels like characters of the week on a TV show, which make a lot of sense. But the couple in this movie that we did see in part one, who were pretty much, McCall's anchors to the real world, you know, the only people he's ever stayed in touch with because, the rest of the world believes him to be dead. And he must let the world think that he is dead until he can find a way to control the raging spirit that dwells within him. Sorry, I just had a Hulk flashback. But is Bill Pullman as Brian Plummer and Melissa Leo as Susan Plummer? Dude, they are as believable of a couple as it can be. They feel like an old married couple, and she is great, no nonsense, and you can kind of tell she's the the power of the couple. That's her. Man, when they take her out, when they burst in behind her in the apartment, you're like, she ain't getting out of this alive. There's no way. You know what I mean?
very
Like,
very violent. I mean, the way that
yeah,
it immediately started with her head getting slammed into that wall is like,
dude,
jeez.
too much. Or did we need to see that to see how serious this is?
I think you had to see it to see just the depth of Dave's betrayal, like to
Mm.
understand like just how far he was gone.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Just think about that scene and how brutal it was, and this guy gets to go home and have breakfast with his kids and act like none of that happened. Like it's hard to not dislike Dave after that.
Oh, dude, Dave's a jerk at that point. Yeah, of course. Much worse than a jerk, obviously. Tom Clark's 6M podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1-800-519-5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark's 6M podcast sent you. I don't know, but I messaged you on Blue Sky about that dinner table scene. Dude, that was, God, my God. Sometimes you forget how intense R-rated action films can be when they're like this, man. That was an intense scene at the dinner table as well.
Yes. The stuff with Resnick, that is the guy that comes in at the beginning, and Resnick is ruthless.
Yes.
It's just like, yeah, it's not personal. Your name is on this paper, so you got to go. And he's telling them the whole time, like, nope, nope, stop talking. This is going to happen.
Dude, I was kind of afraid they were going to take the kid. We never heard anything about the kid, did we?
No, we didn't hear anything else about it. Which is in itself, that is the hypocrisy of Dave being just like, oh, well, it's just a job. But you get to go home and have your family when you've taken some kid somewhere's father and mother away from you.
Good point. Yeah.
And
Excellent
he's
point.
just acting like none of this matters. Like righteousness doesn't matter. Like it's a job. But like yeah, you get to go home and live in both worlds because you choose to.
Yes. And you took someone else's choice away. Yeah. Resnick, by the way, is Jonathan Scarf. And he's actually a Canadian film and TV actor, director, and producer. So that's let's see. We also have Sakina Jaffrey as Fatma. And, she didn't have a very big part. Did it feel a little cliche? Well, possibly. But, again, Phil, it's a very small cast in this movie, man. We only have 8 people who share the screen time in this film. That's it. That's not a lot
Yeah.
of people at all.
And this is
Crazy.
again where it had to be intentional that this felt very much like an episode of a television show.
Until we started talking about it, I can't say that even occurred to me. But It does very much feel like kind of a villain of the week kind of thing here.
Yeah, I mean, supporting cast of the week. Like, I mean, we think of like Walker, Texas Ranger, or some of these other
Oh
shows, and
God.
somebody saves the day, and then he leaves at the end, and the person he saves is just like waving at the end. Thanks for everything, Walker. Like, that's what this guy felt like.
Chuck Norris, back when we used to think he was awesome. We don't think that anymore, kids. Yeah. Well, hey. Well, here's something I'll tell you about that Texas Ranger nonsense is, I can't say I never watched any of them. I did. But like when the show first came on, I'm watching this because I liked him. And it's like, wait a minute. Everyone knows Kung Fu? Are they teaching the Texas Rangers Kung Fu over there in the great state of Texas? What's going on? And like, do you know how many people have defended that to me and tried to explain how the Texas Rangers are throwing roundhouse kicks to the back of the head? And I'm like, if you're going that far to defend a show about Texas Rangers who know Kung Fu, you might be in a little bit too deep. It's getting a little comical at this point. How much Texas Ranger have you watched in your time, Phil?
I was never a big fan. I always saw it when it was coming on. I always saw like the tail end of it. But I can't say that I can remember a full episode of it. I was never a big fan.
I never thought we'd see the day we're talking about that show here on this podcast. But I will say, and I can never remember his partner in the show. I can never remember the actor's name. He started in Matlock, and my mom and I watched Matlock because we're big Andy Griffith fans. Because Andy Griffith is and for my money, one of the greatest comedic actors of all time. His timing impeccable, and all that stuff. But yeah, again, Texas Rangers be learning kung fu. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, look, as we said earlier, man, this movie didn't get great reviews. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 52%, which is, in my opinion, Phil, that's too low, man. Don't you think?
I enjoyed it, but I think this kind of movie is definitely for the audience that appreciates it. I don't think this is like high art. It's just like
No.
it's a fun popcorn action movie.
Yeah, I found it very good. I mean, the first one's a really, really good movie. I don't know. Maybe I'd feel differently if I went and watched part one right now. But to me, part two's great. Like I really enjoyed it. Like, but again, Phil, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I didn't go into this thinking I have to remember it a certain way. I have to read reviews. I have to X, Y, and Z. I never do that stuff, man. I just either want to like something or not like it based on what I'm thinking and feeling on the day, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I understand that.
So according to Denzel, they're actually working on 4 and 5. Is that
Really,
right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Let's see. In November 2024, Denzel announced they are making the Equalizer 4 and the Equalizer 5.
Wow,
But listen, if they make them back to back, it might work. They are talking about doing a prequel film to the series and possibly using the de-aging tech to make Denzel look younger. But I don't know, Phil. To me, you just cast somebody else. Why would you? What do you think about that, Phil? Going back and seeing him with his wife and getting that entire story and then how he faked his death. I mean, it sounds like it could be a hit, dude, if you get the right cast together.
maybe just use the son. Use John David as the leading man for this movie.
He's been mentioned, and so has Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I think Michael B. Jordan also would be pretty great.
Yeah, I think that they claimed at the time that Part 3 was talked about internally as the last film, but that doesn't really mean anything. Not in
Yeah,
Hollywood. When
that's what I thought. I thought 3 was going to be the last one.
Yeah, I did too. Let me ask you a question. This isn't one of those, it's an old TV show. It's not exactly a beloved IP that we all grew up with.
No,
If they wanted to restart this thing with another actor, I don't know what the harm would be. Like you
no.
could even
You could even cast Queen Latifah
don't
and do this
say it.
weird CBS show.
I knew you were going to say that. God bless it.
Every time I see the clips of her like fighting and like it just looks so weird, man.
It looks silly. No offense to her. She's great, but like I don't
Nah, Queen Latifah's a legend, man. But it's
sure.
just, it's so funny every time I see the clips.
I don't know. I'm just thinking like a young and ripped Angela Bassett as the Equalizer. I could handle that, but I don't know, man. Queen Latifah. No offense. Just I don't know if it fits. It's kind of a weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would bet that most people don't even know the Equalizer was a TV show.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. I grew up watching the original with my mom actually in the 80s. And she was a big fan. I can't say I really liked the Equalizer all that much. I watched it with her, but she was a big fan of that show.
Yeah, apparently they're talking about bringing back one of my mother's favorites growing up, Murder She Wrote.
Oh my God. We will be here all day if I tell you how much my mom loves freaking Murder She Wrote. So they're talking about, so in what capacity are they talking about it?
They're gonna do a reboot. They're doing a recast.
Oh my goodness. My mom will not be happy. Yeah, man. It's all I hear about. That and The House of Dark Shadows. Have you heard of that one?
No.
So The House of Dark Shadows was like a daytime, it was a vampire soap opera. No
Mhm.
BS. Long before the Twilight kids. My mom is hooked on that, and she's hooked on Murder She Wrote. I've heard it so many times throughout my life. It's freaking
Yeah.
nuts.
This news came out because in some of the press for Freakier Friday, Jamie Lee
Oh,
Curtis has said that she is gonna be at the helm for this thing,
she's
which
gonna
makes
be.
sense.
She's gonna do what now?
Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be the have the leading role in it.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is still hot in my opinion. I mean, I know she's older, but like, I don't know. I guess it's fine. She's a good actress, man. So we'll see. Is it gonna be on a streamer? I imagine.
I don't think they've announced that yet.
Oh, interesting. Definitely gonna have to talk to my mom, let her know this. Just get her opinion. It's funny, like if you want to know how something's gonna fly, go ask the person that you know that loves it more than anybody and see what they say. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
come
Like,
on, man, get that trench coat on, Jamie Lee Curtis and the flashlight and everything. We're like walking into like some dark room and like the music and everything.
talk about a character that was never in trouble was Jessica Fletcher. She was never in danger, dude. Not because she could fight, but just because it was TV and it was G rated, evidently. Like,
She was always ahead of everybody. She always figured it out by the end of the
always.
episode.
At some point, I'm like, would you please leave? My God, you're annoying everyone. You know what I mean? Like, it's the old Columbo thing where he knew, Columbo knew the second he walked in the room who did it. Like, yeah, all right. Well, must be great to have that kind of foresight. You kidding me? Yeah. Well, listen, I didn't want to talk this movie to death because I feel like again, it's if it's for you kids, it's for you. And if you're like, well, part one was much better, or I preferred part three, I kind of understand where you're coming from on that as well. But again, I enjoyed this, man. And if we're talking about a reboot of the series, I think that's fine. I mean, I think there's plenty of younger actors out there who could take on the role, and you could even maybe put Denzel in one as a character or whatever. I don't know, dude. You could even hand it off to somebody else, whether it is his son or whoever. I think that would make a lot of sense as well, man.
Yeah. I mean, I just think with the nature of this kind of project, you can continue to do that. I mean, sure, that's also some of the criticism of big franchises,
Mm-hmm.
that you don't need a big star. The leading role is interchangeable.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, but I do think that Denzel has made this his own. It's such a unique part of his career. I mean, people are going to remember him for so many different things in his career, whether that be, Malcolm X or some of the other Spike Lee movies, or um, just like some of his other big roles that he's had throughout his life. I mean, Training Day, and I mean,
Mm.
just his time working with Fuqua is such a different period of his career than anything he did with Spike Lee, and that kind of says everything about like Hollywood where it was and Hollywood where it is now too. And Spike being a very much like artsy auteur, for lack of better words, and
Mm-hmm.
then Fuqua is like, yeah, come do these big like do this franchise or do this complete shift from what you're known for of being like a good guy and be the bad guy in Training Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Training Days in Archives, by the way, kids. Fuqua's directing that new Michael Jackson biopic, by the way.
Yeah, still not sure what to make of that.
I don't know. Is Jermaine's son playing him, I think. I mean, he looks like him.
Yeah.
There's been legal stuff. Not for nothing, but Queen the band controlled the narrative of that movie. And I think that's part of the reason why people turned against that movie. It's like, well, we're not getting Freddie's
Yeah.
version, right? We're not getting Michael, dude. The family's going to control the narrative, and I'm not saying let's make a movie to roast Michael and show him to be a pedophile. I'm not saying that, but like, are we going to get everything, or is it, I mean, the family has final say so. Which again, Phil, they can do what they want. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah.
But
We'll see. I'm not sure what to make of it.
yeah, me neither. Um, Talked about it on the YouTube there, but not at great length. We'll see. I think there's reshoots happening, and there's been things that they're not allowed to mention during the movie because of various other people who said you can't talk about that or you can't talk about this, and they're. I think that's what's been stalling production because that thing was supposed to come out this year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, dude. But it wasn't. It stalled because of everything. I think the legal stuff going on behind the scenes. So yeah, and plus it's like making. I know this is kind of weird comparison. It's like making The Watchmen. How are you really going to be able to show Michael Jackson and do it justice? Like I don't know, man. To me, I'm like I don't know if this is possible.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It's tough to really portray the scale of his career because
yes,
we're talking about one of the biggest entertainers ever.
ever. Yeah,
And if you weren't there, it's hard to explain it. It's hard to explain just how big he was in the 80s. I mean, like we're talking about like a global international icon.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Another way to put it. I mean, they pulled it off in that Elvis movie. I mean, people can love or hate it. I feel like they pulled it off as good as they could, I
Yeah.
guess. But, at this point, man, Elvis's story has been told so many times. And I don't know. I feel like Michael's story is a little bit more fresher, which is weird considering it happened in the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
So, kids, before we get too more distracted here, there's Equalizer Part 2. If it's me telling you, I would tell you that if you haven't seen this movie, number one, we just ruined it for you. So apologies. But you should definitely see it because it's very much worth it. You and I, Phil, didn't really get into the plot a whole lot here. Any comments about the plot? It's kind of really straightforward. The guys become contract killers, and they're like we said, Dave's really disconnected, and it's all about the job. I mean, anything you bump into with this plot and the story at all?
No, I think that it's very straightforward, but I think it's very straightforward because I don't think this movie is trying to be anything than what it is. It's a very like it's a very straightforward vigilante action film, and I think it works. It's not going to be for everybody, but I think for like fans of these kind of movies and this franchise, I enjoyed it. And then like there's enough here that tugs at your heartstrings. Like the stuff, the storyline with Sam in itself is just so good. I mean, they did such a good job of kind of tricking you and making you think it's going to go this whole direction because Sam is chasing this painting. He has basically given up on the idea of ever seeing his sister again, and that's
Mm.
part of why he's so attached to this painting. And so you think that he's getting the information, he being McCaw, he's getting the information to get him the painting, and it's to reunite him with his sister.
Yeah, dude, what a great ending. By the way, we lost Orson Bean in 2020. So yeah, rest in peace to him. He was fantastic, man. And man, started acting in 55. Okay.
Yeah, it's
55 through 2018. I'm sorry, 52 is when he started.
yeah. I think it might be an older thing as well. The older and older I get, the more I appreciate um, just small things like that about older gentlemen because a lot of older people in our lives, the guys that used to hang out at barbershops and just give you random advice like that advice he gave McCall when he gets out of the car, like don't ever get on the bad side of somebody that knows where your toothbrush is or
Yeah.
something like that. Like it's like what?
Oh, that's good.
So I think the older and older I get, the more I appreciate those things because yeah, like a lot of these older guys in our lives, they disappear. The older we get, it's sad, but just like that brief moment of happiness for him, that was just really
Yeah.
really great.
And him handing him a handful of quarters every time he drives him.
Yeah, yeah, like he doesn't pay through the app.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, here's your tip,
He
whatever.
throws them all in that compartment.
If you listen, Phil, you should totally Wikipedia this guy's TV career. It is insane. 52. all the way to 2020. I mean,
Wow.
his credit, dude, look at his credits. Like, holy God. Like, and we're talking quality shows here, not shows you've never heard of. We're talking top shows on TV.
Yeah.
Insane, dude. Yeah. Wow. Man, he had a big career for sure. He also won a Grammy in 78 for The Hobbit. This is before your time, Phil. But back in the day, we had 45 records with a book. And you put the 45 record on, and it was a kid's book, and it would read the story of the book. And you could follow along with the 45 and then flip it over at the halfway mark. But I had this Hobbit book and record that this guy won a Grammy for because he read it on the record. That's pretty freaking awesome. You can find those right now online, Phil, but you're going to pay for them. Do you know what I mean? Because they're considered collector's items. But I'd like to get my hands on a copy. That'd be pretty cool. Well, there you go, kids. There's Equalizer Part 2. We're probably going to hit Part 3 because I enjoy this trilogy enough to hit all 3 movies. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure we'll hit that here on the 6M. But Phil, before we go, if you've got anything left, let's get your last word on the Equalizer 2.
Yeah, I think it's an enjoyable movie if you're just looking for something easy to just throw on like a Saturday or Friday night and just like sit on the couch and watch. Just an ooh and ah at the action and stuff. I think this is a fun movie.
Yeah, I agree. Kids, when it gets violent, it gets very violent. So be sure that you got the right people in the room because it gets pretty intense when it happens. Trust me. But yeah, Phil's right. I think it's worth your time. I think it's a good movie, and people are going to have their opinions, and that's fine. You know, sometimes criticism is fair, and it's just honest criticism. And other times it's like, you don't have to go after people to that extent. I don't know if that's really what happened here or anything like that. I think people were just complaining because they truly maybe didn't like this movie or felt it was too stereotypical or whatever you want to call it. But like, I just didn't share any of those feelings at all, man. I really didn't. Well, there you go, kids. We thank you as always for listening, for following, for checking us out on the YouTube, for sharing the shows wherever you can. We appreciate it very much. This was actually episode 255. So we're rolling right along here, kids. And we very much appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing and following and all that good stuff. Stay tuned for a lot more. As I said, part 3 is probably coming next, but we shall see. In the meantime, that is the Equalizer 2. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at 6M Podcast. We'll see you next time.